Crusaders coach Scott Robertson talks about beating dyslexia and the adrenaline of coaching. 14 Super Rugby coaches could all put the same question to themselves about Scott Robertson, as the slow crawl toward the 2018 season begins. What will Robertson do different to assist his Crusaders in their bid to defend the Super Rugby title? Given Robertson, who guided the Crusaders to the competition crown in his debut season in charge this year, rarely allows his brain to disengage from the subject of rugby, it's unlikely he has shied away from the subject himself. It's not unusual for him to wake in the dead of night with ideas of how he can improve his team, anything to give the players and coaches an edge in arguably the most demanding club competition in the world. "No, I don't really switch off from rugby," Robertson says. "In some capacity I am always thinking about it. My wife, Jane, always talks about it. She always knows if I am thinking about recruiting, or a game plan. Or I will be texting someone or using Google to get some meaning behind something. It is just continuous. If it is not that, then I am looking at the surf report." During the off-season, the Crusaders coaches left New Zealand to seek out ideas on how to keep their organization at the head of the pack. Robertson assisted former Crusaders coach Robbie Deans when they coached the Barbarians against a Japanese selection, the All Blacks and Tonga recently. Assistant forwards coach Jason Ryan traveled to France and the United States, and assistant backs coach Brad Moore, in addition to coaching NZ School's Barbarians side, visited Australia. It was while in Ireland with the Barbarians that Robertson met with former Irish international Ronan O'Gara to discuss a switch from Paris club Racing Metro to the Crusaders on a one-year deal as a replacement for departed assistant backs coach Leon MacDonald. It's proof that the changes for the season ahead won't be cosmetic. Pre-season training for the Crusaders began on Thursday, although 17 All Blacks are either on leave following the recent tour of Europe or recovering from injuries and surgery. As preparations build towards the Round 1 game against the Chiefs on February 24, the likelihood is that Robertson will find himself thinking more and more about the game, whether it be sitting at the traffic lights or standing on his paddleboard off the coast of Sumner. Robertson, 43, knows about having to deal with challenges. He has had to combat dyslexia and said the assistance of Jane helped him deal with it. Together they have found ways for him to make everything work. "She is incredible. We have been together for 20 years. She understands me, how I work and what message I am trying to get across," Robertson said. "She helps to make sense of my thoughts, and we have found a way that works best for me in regards to that. I am a bullet point and pictures man. I use pictures so people can get connected, emotionally connected. Often good coaches have a high emotional intelligence, and that is something Robertson has. He just had to find a way to tap into his skills to send the right signals to his players. It is clearly working well enough." In addition to his triumph with the Crusaders, Robertson previously guided Canterbury to 3 title wins, and New Zealand's victory at the World Under-20 Championships in 2015 was another highlight for the ex-All Blacks loose forward. "None of it would have been possible," says Robertson, "if Jane hadn't offered ideas and encouragement. She helped me to find a way to learn, and how I can deliver the message in the best way. And she has a great way of mentioning that maybe things could be done better," he laughed. "Yes, she understands me and is a massive reason for some of the success I have had. All coaches will tell you that this industry can be tough on their partners and families. Social media has changed everything, and provides fertile ground for the faceless trolls. That means everyone if fair game." Robertson says he understands there must be accountability. When things are going well, the applause can be deafening. There are never any shortage of tales about complete strangers offering to buy coaches and players drinks if the team is on a hot run. A reversal in fortunes can see the uglier side emerge, especially when fans use social media platforms as camouflage. "The expectations on you, people have an opinion, and I understand that," Robertson said. I knew that as a player and people have a perception and believe, whether it is right or wrong, they get to pass comment. There are different avenues to pass comment now. Your wives and your family get to see that, and we are in a multimedia world now. So there are different pressures. I think the stability at home and yourself, and if you are comfortable with who you are, it helps you get through and strive. I love what I do and just look back on that, Jane's support and understanding, when I am away for a long time. Sometimes you come home a little bit quiet and sometimes a little bit excited. That's the role of a sportsman and being a professional coach. In the final minutes of the Crusaders' 25-17 win over the Lions in the final at Ellis Park in Johannesburg, Robertson stood on the sideline to capture the feeling of watching his team secure a win in front of 61,000 South Africans. He looked euphoric. How did this achievement compare to playing 23 tests? It is hard to compare as an All Black, when I had some of my greatest moments and disappointments. But probably from being a Crusader for 8 years, 7 as a player and 1 as a coach, and playing a lot of games, and if you look at it, it was probably the greatest win of them all. A foundation player for the Crusaders, Robertson celebrated 4 title wins. He desperately wanted to add to the 8 that had been claimed between 1998 to 2008 and did so in dramatic fashion in Joburg. And to regain that momentum and do it against the odds, that was something no one had ever done before, winning an away final in South Africa. That was special to me as a player and a coach. Talking to Robbie Deans, he agreed it was probably the greatest of them all because of the context of it. It was a special moment, yeah. Now everyone is gunning for the Crusaders. Robertson expects that. It is his job to make sure his side are more demanding of themselves and as ruthless as ever. When I wake up at night, it is usually about ideas of how I can make things a little bit better, he says. I love preparing for the weekend. I am not sure how you would get through the year if you didn't have a game on the Friday or Saturday to look forward to. It is the adrenaline. It is something you are lucky to do something you love in front of people who love watching. It is special and unique.